Hello everyone, welcome to Blue Flash Station. I am Exile2K / Sean Eclectic on Facebook, and today I'm going to be playing the role of your Tokusatsu reviewer, and I'm going to be going over the Kikaider Reboot film titled Kikaider Reboot. Well, I guess it could be considered a clever title, or really lazy or stupid, but I can take it or leave it. You decide. Okay, so we start with the setup of the film. At the beginning of the movie, we see that the Japanese government has kind of announced this new project called Project Arc, with the aim to combine the private sector with the industrial sector to create more advanced robots for the initial sake of trying to help construction workers or and further more menial tasks, or to create more artificial aid to assist humanity and stuff of that nature. And Dr. Komyoji, being the head of this project, is his sole purpose is to kind of create a better, more intelligent and feeling machine in the hope of using it to better mankind. But only moments later, we soon find out behind closed doors that there's an ulterior motive. Basically, as you would expect, military application. And, with Komyoji's personal creation, Jiro, who is a android built with a conscience, fighting Mari, who is another android built without one. Of course, they go behind his back to test its combat capabilities, and when he finds out, he's not too pleased about the situation, seeing as he was kind of a little bit naive into thinking that this was not about a military application, when it obviously, clearly now is behind closed doors. So in his infuriation, he kind of leaves the project and dies under mysterious circumstances, which they don't really get into whether or not it's an accident. It's probably not an accident, but... And of course, he locks away... Before that, he had locked away a lot of his research on his way out. The last bits of information they need to complete their project. Which, he leaves a daughter and a son behind. I think they kind of live off the patents off his creations, and that's how they can just live on their own without even a mom. And pretty much, supposedly he had left something important. The last piece of his research, he had left something important with her that was vital, and that's like the sole reason it kind of turns her and the little boy into a target. Which, to protect them, he had sent Jiro, Kikaider, to not only to protect the legacy of his research from going and getting in the wrong hands, but also to protect his daughter and his son. So, that leads us to our first big scene of the film, and I really love the first fight scene, the first big fight scene. It's one of my personal favorites. I really love the lighting to this film, like kind of like the darker lighting, but Kikaider's suit really does kind of like shine really well in the darkness, in a sense. Like the color palette on his isn't muted to kind of force it into the background, like it's supposed to stand out the way you should use proper coloring. And the first fight scene is pretty good. You get to see him, Kikaider, kind of fight his regular Jiro and get things in. Pretty decent fight scene, and the Kikaider stuff is pretty good. You get to see his strength kind of being displayed and stuff like that. There's this great fight scene with this big robot. Normally, I'm very skeptic when it comes to tokusatsu and practical and CGI, practical versus CGI fights. I always kind of like, I don't always favor them too much, because there's a lot of older Toku TV stuff that didn't do it very well. But here, it's pretty well done. They get to display the character's abilities, his strengths, his agility, and stuff like that. I'm not gonna really spoil how he beats how he fights the thing, but it's really a good sight to see, and it really shows how strong this fucking dude is. So, yeah, but yeah, the fight scenes are pretty good. As things kind of go along, the daughter, initially doesn't really think too highly of her father, and she has a little bit of an anguish or frustration towards his creations, because they kind of kept him away from the family in kind of a lot of ways, and she doesn't really want to be tied to that legacy, but life has other plans. And over the course of time, I just feel like there's also this little storyline that I like. The little boy, her little brother, is way more fast to kind of accept Jiro. Because, you know, he's a kid, he's a little boy, and you got this cool robot sent to protect you. It's like, it does all these cool things. It's like, oh, you can't help but think he's amazing. You know? So he obviously, you know, takes it one. The girl's a little bit more reluctant, but, you know, the situation kind of forces her to deal with it the best she can. But, although, you know, that's a nice little sub story with him and the kid, and kind of like the way he acts around the kid, and the way the kid views him. It's kind of like her gateway to slowly kind of warm up to him and see him in a more positive light. Kikaider himself basically went all, like, the portrayal is mostly all robot. You know, the actor kind of has that very stiff face. He doesn't emote too much. A lot of times, when the Kikaider full body is out there, like, sometimes you'll see a little bit of a kind of an emotional tweak during certain scenes. So there's some heart here. There's some heart in this film. The fight scenes are pretty good, like I said. The only weirdness about the movie that kind of bugs me, because it came out in like 2014, it does a lot of sequel baiting near the end. But I'll get into that later. But as we further along into the movie, eventually, you know, Professor Gill gets a little itch of the mad doctors, and Kikaider hits the scene with the sole purpose of basically showing everyone his world and what he wants to do with this technology and all this other stuff. And Project Arc is really a front for something else, and then all this other stuff that kind of goes in. I'm not going to get too deep into, but the Kikaider suit is just, like, both suits, like, I love both suits, I love both designs. The Kikaider one especially stands out. You know, it's just fantastic looking. Like, there's a reason they gave this character his own movie in, like, the 90s, a long time ago, because he really strikes an interesting kind of look, and it just looks fantastic. And, you know, he comes out, he basically rampages against the project to do what, you know, in the manner that he feels he wants to use it for, and all this other stuff. And it's pretty much, it doesn't really get real clear into why he's doing it. It just seems like he just wants to destroy everything because he wants to. So his motivations are a little weak. I mean, Gil's kind of motivations to even become Kikaider are kind of rooted in seemingly professional jealousy for the most part, without getting into further detail. And you do get a little bit of his scenes of him rampaging a little bit, but it's a little shorter than I'd like. I kind of would have wanted them to kind of show a little bit more of him kind of beating up all this big android army stuff and looking cool, you know, kind of to further how much of a threat he really is to our main hero. And, you know, we get a little bit of that, but not really. It's really cut away, and that was a little disappointing for me. So yeah, you know, I mean, their final fight's actually pretty satisfying, pretty good fight choreography. The costumes look great, the visuals are pretty good, the lighting's really good. It's pretty by the numbers. I mean, it's not bad that it's by the numbers. It's a little average, but there is some heart in this film. I do like, you know, the whole thing with the conscience circuit thing, that, you know, in order to become a more efficient killing machine, he would have to leave his emotions behind, and that's kind of seen as a big, you know, a big point of conflict for him personally, to let go of a sense of moral obligation to get the job done, and what that would mean if he completely gives into that. So there's, like, you know, there's a little bit of there's a little bit of a kind of, you know, the daughter finding her lost love for machinery, and kind of seeing it more as an expression, like that was her father's expression of affection towards her, was these things that he made for her, like Jiro. So, you know, by extension, you know, Jiro is a creation of her father's love for her, as well as, you know, his love for machinery and furthering humanity. So, you know, there's some heart in this film, and I really like it. Overall, I do like the film overall. There's a little bit, the sequel baity stuff kind of time has not been kind to that part of the film, where they kind of, you know, leave certain people still in play by the end, even with your post-credit scenes and all that. They even have a guy whose sole purpose is kind of seems to be a walking exposition machine, but yeah, that's what he's there for. He's kind of like a personal plot device. I don't know how the hell this guy is still alive when he's spewing up so much goddamn information, but I guess he's not revealing it to the public. But either way, yeah, I mean, pretty good costumes. The CGI effects in the movie were actually pretty adequate for a Toku film. It doesn't feel like a TV episode that was put on screen like certain Kamen Rider and Super Sentai movies feel like, where they just kind of just did the same production and then they just moved it up to a movie with not a lot of bumping or change in camera quality. And and the color contrast and all stuff like that. The fight scenes are actually pretty good. The suit works pretty good, like I said. And it's just the sequel baiting kind of hurts it a little bit. There's enough there that there is a sense of finality a little bit with the after the Kikaider conflict. So there is at least a sense. So if you kind of ignore the post-credit scene, the movie does feel like it ends strongly. So I guess if you want to do yourself a favor and you kind of want the movie to feel more self-contained, then you would just not watch the after credit scene. Even though one of the antagonists are kind of still in play. But, and if you ignore the post-credits scene, it really feels like Kikaider kind of ruined the project by going on his rampage, and they're kind of done. So, that's my advice to you. Kind of just, don't think of the post-credits scene too much. Because, this came out in 2014. It's like 2018, so it's been 4 years. There's been no inkling of a continuation of any kind. So it's best to kind of you'll get more mental peace if you just ignore the sequel baiting a little bit. But overall, I mean, I'd love to see more. I'd love to see more of this film. I liked it, the way it was shot. I like the fight scenes, like the little sense of a little bit of heart they put into it. It's not super hyper profound, but it's good. It's good. It's trying to say something. It's very simple message, but it's still good. And I wouldn't mind seeing more. I mean, if the movie's job was to make me feel like they wanted to go forward with a movie series or a TV series or something like that, I'm kind of all for it. It's a more serious tokusatsu. There's not a lot of jokes here. There's not a lot of silliness. This is played kind of feels like a regular traditional big budget film. That's the vibe it's kind of going for a little bit. And yeah, it succeeds in that regard. And if I was to rate it, I'd say, well, maybe like a 3 out of 5, give or take. It's a good, decent film. It's fun to watch. It's just the movie, so you don't really have to worry about it gobbling up a lot of your time if you want to casually watch it. And the things it does well. I mean, it doesn't do it to some magnificent level that rewrites the world, but not everything that comes out has to do that. It just needs to be good. And this is that. It's actually good. And, me personally, I wouldn't mind seeing more. And yeah, so definitely worth checking out, I think. And I think you'll have fun watching it. It's a good middle-of-the-road movie. What more is there to be said? It makes you kind of want to see more. It's just sad that there isn't. But there you go. All right, that's my review. Also, if you want to kind of enhance the experience of watching the movie, there was a little piece that took place before this in a crossover episode with Kamen Rider Gaim, episode 30, I believe, that has Kikaider and Hikaider in it, and it's basically kind of like the crossover mini advertisement episode for the film. It's a pretty good episode. I think that episode did a little bit more of a better job of kind of like making Hikaider seem more threatening. So if you want to get a better sense of Kikaider kind of rampaging a little bit and his strength and all that other shit, and this episode kind of does that a little bit better than the movie. So in that regard, it's a nice little companion piece to the film. It's not really necessary to watch it because it's kind of self-contained. If you didn't see it before the movie, it doesn't really do anything to hurt the movie. It's its own little thing, but it takes place before the initial film, and it's basically an advertising kind of episode. The only thing I was really down about the episode was that they kind of like made Gaim seem a little weak during it, just to kind of put the other two characters over a little bit more to emphasize their strength so much. But near the end, he finally gets to hurt them a bit, but he wasn't exactly at his peak of strength either, so I guess I can kind of forgive it for that. But overall, yeah, it's a nice little companion piece to the film. Maybe I'll put some links to that too, to both the film and to the Gaim episode, if you just want to check it out before the film to see more of Kikaider and kind of being dangerous. But yeah, so overall, I hope you enjoyed the review, and If you liked this, share, comment, subscribe. Let people know about the channel. I've got plenty of things here. Tokusatsu reviews, a little bit of some regular reviews, info vids, some gameplay vids of stuff, including some game reviews of some of two Kamen Rider games, among other things. And I'm still doing things here and there. And yeah, this is Exile2K, Sean Eclectic on Facebook, signing off from the superhero multiverse. And I was very glad to be your Tokusatsu reviewer for the day. And I'll see you guys around.